this brief tutorial, I'm going to show you about this new app I made called Quadrant Harmony. And so as usual, you open it with standalone main, and this way you can open it on Mac and PC, either one. So just running through the interface, you have the port number you select from the Mind Monitor app. You have your frequency band you want to select, and then you have which quadrant you want to get data from. So let's do the alpha. And then here's a quick little scrolling graph to show you kind of a range of data of what is selected. So let me just send the data from Mind Monitor. And it's going right now. You can tell by this number is changing as well as this graph. This number up here controls the speed, so faster intervals it will take more data. It's kind of like an interval, so every 90 milliseconds it will move forward, or every 1000 milliseconds it will move, which is every second. That stops the scroll graph. This sets min and max points, so this is minus and that's plus. And this output low and output high goes to the sound interface. So let me just load up a sound, and let's do the strings. So I'm not sure if you will hear this, but it doesn't really matter. So this is a quite flexible sound interface to give you some feedback. And so as soon as you load the sound, it will start playing and looping. If you want to see the sound in the sound player, you can just click open sound player, and here you'll see the player, and there's a loop option. It will be playing. There's a gain, so like a volume knob, and just some other things. But you don't need to really touch it, but you can if you want. This right here shows you what note is being played. So in the download, you'll get a bunch of sounds that you can play, and they're all different notes. But if you load a C3, it will output the note in here. This is kind of like the raw data that you're seeing in the graph, but this is a scaling feature. This little box right here is a scaling feature to give you a little bit more control. And if you know about the other apps I've made, I always include a scaling feature, so if you want to invert the pitch or the direction of the sound feedback, you can. So by default, if you want an increase in data, the pitch will go up. But if you want to invert that, all you do is just invert these numbers, and now it will go down in pitch as the data increases. Or if you want to be a bit more precise or dramatic, so you can set the min and max for what these, but the Mind Monitor gives you a default value of -1 to +2, I believe that's what it is. So as you get data in from your selected source, this number will move, and this will play different sounds and transpose the sound in the sound player. You can select what scale you want to transpose that from here, maybe like a minor 7, but by default it's major pentatonic, and you can choose different scales as well. You can actually load as many instances as you want, so you can have a whole symphony of different scales and sounds coming from these. This is a little echo device. It's from the standalone, it's from the Alpha Beta Neurofeedback app, and it gives just some texture to the sound. And here's a pan knob, so you can, if you want to set maybe like one instance to the left, and then open another instance and set that one to the right. Maybe you could do something like this, so like 1 you'll hear one sound coming from the left and one sound coming from the right. This, I'm just kind of randomly going through these. This is a transpose up or down. So if you want to, let's say you're hearing too much high notes, you can just knock this down maybe an octave or so, and now you'll have a bit more range to hear this. This is a nice little feature. It essentially controls the volume of the pitch as well. So by default, it will just be playing the sound and transposing it. But let's say you want to have the sound be triggered if it's greater than 1.56. So every time this goes above 1.56, it will then trigger the sound. So you can see it was off for a certain amount of time. Or you can invert that, so if it's going under, if this number is going under, it will then trigger the sound. Or if you just wanted to hear the sound being transposed, you can just click off and it will be continuous. And here's the reset pan knob, so it just goes back to the center. It's not essential that you hear the sounds, but I just want to go through all the features. So I think that is about all the features. There's a volume knob down here. And as I said, you can run all sorts of apps inside the standalone main. You can run Quadrant Harmony as many times as you want. Maybe like the beeper. So if you want to make sure your headphone or your headband has a strong signal, you can get indicator beeps if it's a weak signal. Or the brainwave display app that I also made to give you visual scrolling feedback of anything you want from Mind Monitor. But yeah, overall it's a very flexible app. It's very similar to the Quadrant feedback, except this does it with pitch and this does it with volume. And I found that human can perceive pitch more accurately than they can perceive volume changes. So that's why I created Quadrant Harmony. So I hope you can really benefit from this neurofeedback training, and thanks for watching.